Hi, I'm Amy Stair, CEO of Star Power, and welcome to another edition of Star Power Club. I have the distinct privilege of having in studio with me today Kathy Henne from Piqua, Ohio. And you might ask, where the heck is Piqua? I asked the same question. Kathy, welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to be one of our Star Power stars.
I'm thrilled to be here. Piqua is 26 miles north of Dayton. It's just a small little town with about 25,000 population.
And you dominate that market.
I do my best.
Let's start by finding out how you've wound your way around to becoming a realtor.
Okay.
Where did you start out?
I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband and I owned a fire extinguisher business, and I answered the phone for him during the day, and I taught Jackie Sorensen aerobic classes. And one of the other instructors had a home party that sold applique sweatshirts, and they were really cool, and I thought, I'm going to do that. So I became a rep, and I did well. I work hard. And so the owner decided to add an incentive where each time you were the top salesperson in the company for a quarter, the next quarter you got an extra 2% in commission. I like that. That's good. And it was cumulative, so you kept going up and up and up. And so after a couple of years, she said, that's it, you can't go any higher. I said, okay. And then she kept telling me she hoped somebody docked me off. And I went to a concert, and there was sweat on the floor, and I fell and I broke my arm. So I could no longer carry in all of the supplies that I needed for the parties, and somebody did knock me off. And I'd been thinking about going to real estate. I decided now's the time. My youngest daughter had left for college, and now I could do it all the time. So it was fabulous. I went to work for a lady who was just absolutely wonderful. She's just fabulous. But she had a medical emergency and never got to come back to the office. Her daughter ran the company from Columbus, which is about an hour and a half away. And then after a couple of years, her daughter said, I don't want to do this anymore. And so she told us in December that she was closing the office the end of December.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, not a lot of planning, yeah. So I went and talked to a local broker, and I just said, okay, well, I told him, by this time I'd been to the universities, I'd been to Star Power conferences, I had all these things we were doing, and I told him, I said, these are all the things we're doing. And he said, that's fine, you can do that. And I said, okay, because I had a direct line that I had in my advertising that came to my desk. And I didn't want to give that up. And so we got over there, and then there were already, I don't know, like 6, 7 agents in the company, and they weren't real thrilled that that we had a direct line and all the things we had. So one by one, he was taking things away from me, telling me, well, you can't have that direct line anymore. You can't make the copies for the brochure boxes. You can't do this, you can't do that. And so I went to a conference, and I talked to all the people in the black shirts, and I said, okay, I don't know what to do. And they all said, go back home, leave him, get your broker's license, do it the way you want to do. So I went back home, and I told him, I said, I can't live like this. I said, I'm leaving. And he said, well, don't leave. Buy the company from me. So we worked it out, and I bought it. And then we went to tell the other agents, and the agents said to me, didn't he tell you? We all told him we're leaving. So I bought a company that was him and my team.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it turned out to be great. It was all good. We could do things my way. He stayed on as a broker until I got my broker's license, and it worked out fine.
Wow. And that's still what it is today.
Still what it is today. Along the way, we've had times where when we first started out with my team, we had 2 agents and me and a secretary. And we've gone up to 3 agents, and then just me by myself, and then a couple agents, back to myself, and I like it just myself. So I like doing everything.
So it's just you
and my office manager.
In Little Piqua, Ohio, and your office manager.
Yep.
Doing 75 transactions a year.
It's working out well.
Incredible. Well, I want to get into, there are a lot of things that you do for your people.
Yes.
So I want to talk first about your philosophy behind that. Where does that come from? I've heard this pattern of successful, you started out with phone skills, you picked up the sales skills naturally, you're a good teacher, you brought all of this into real estate, But I've heard you tell me over and over again it's about the people. So talk to me about that.
I love taking care of the people. It's like being a mom. You can do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's all, taken care. And I love taking care of people and having them happy. And whenever something comes up, we handle it. But I want everybody happy. That's why my ringtone is happy. You've heard it a lot.
The song Happy. I love it. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you've chosen to do that pour into your people?
Okay. Well, our big thing is our pies. We send out the cards, and in the card is a copy that they keep, and the other part they choose the pie that they want and send it back. And they also put their address, email address, and their phone number on it. And so as those come in, I check them against the database, and I make any updates. And on every card, I make sure that both partners on there have their phone number, because when we get to the second day of Pie Day, we text everybody and say, don't forget to pick up your pie today by 5, because any pies not picked up by 5 o'clock today are going to be donated to the fire department and the police department. So have to see you before 5. And we just do one text and then just copy and paste it to everybody else.
So 2 great things there. That added touch point of communication. Mm-hmm. And what's the reaction of the fire department and the police department?
Oh my God, they love it. When we brought the ties this time, they were eating the pie out of the box as we were piling them on the shelf.
I love it.
Well, it's a lovely little bakery there in Piqua that makes them, and they're very good.
Fantastic.
So they love it. Last year, I ran into a lady, and she said, one of your pies came to my dinner. And she said, my grandson never brings anything, but he's a policeman, and he got a pie, and he brought it to Thanksgiving dinner.
How lovely is that?
Yeah.
So how many pies did you give out this year?
450.
Wow.
Yeah. But we got to see so many people.
Yeah.
I just love it.
That's incredible. That speaks a lot to the impact you're having for that community.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the pie event, because I know you did some things a little differently this year.
Well, this year, Holly made a QR code for our Google reviews. And so anybody that had not done one for us, we asked them at closing, we held up the little sign and let them capture it with their phone and give us a Google review. So we picked up more that way.
That's so cool.
It was fun.
Why did you decide that that was something important for you guys to do?
The Google reviews? Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of years ago, not last conference, the conference before that, we decided that we were going to really concentrate on getting the Google reviews. So went back after a conference, and I sent a text to everybody that I thought might do it. And if they agreed, then we sent them the link, and they did it. And so we're up to 209, I think, now. So it's fun. I love it.
Why text instead of email?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like it's me talking directly to them that way, but I'm not actually calling and interrupting their day.
Right. Well, your results are proof enough that you chose the right path.
It worked.
And your message is real simple.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing it?
Sure. It's just, hi, Amy. This is Kathy Henne. Would you mind giving us a 5-star Google review? If it's okay, let me know, and we'll send you an email. And that's it.
So it's that simple, you guys. Everybody's always asking, how do I get these reviews? You just made it, and you asked for a 5-star review. I love that.
Yeah. And when we send the Google link, it says, if you cannot give us 5 stars, call me immediately.
Has anyone ever called you?
Nope. They just gave me the 5 stars.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about, you pour a lot into the community. How did you get started with the T-shirts?
Well, it was just an idea I had. And so we buy 350 T-shirts, and as soon as the T-shirts come in, we have a contest on Facebook for our clients. And I put on there our loyal clients, because I want them to think about that, And so it just says, post here and tell me why you should win a T-shirt. And so there's usually maybe 50, 55 that post, and everybody wins. If you post, you win. And so then they come in and get their shirts, and then all the rest are donated to the Piqua Moms Club. they do things for the football players. They pay for their dinners. They do things like that. So the Moms Club sells them at the home games, and then they keep all the money. So it's fun.
Incredible.
It is. And then when we go to the games, probably half the people in the stands have shirts from one of the years on at the game. So, and our information's on the back.
So you're giving them the materials for their fundraiser, but it's your branding.
Yes.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm sure you get approached in a small community by a lot of people to sponsor this and sponsor that.
Yes, I do.
How do you handle that?
Well, I do most of them. I had 5 parents ask me to sponsor baseball, softball teams the same week. And so I had an amount that I was going to do, and I just split it between the 5 and said, I can't do everybody at the top, So, but I hardly ever say no.
Where does that come from?
I want to make them happy. Yeah, I get gift cards at Kroger's and get the gas points. And then when somebody comes in and needs a donation for this, that, or whatever, we give them a card.
You're always, what I love about you, Kathy, is you lead with the giving heart, but you also always think about, how can I leverage this opportunity?
Yeah.
Getting the points on the gift cards is brilliant. Let's talk a little bit about education and truly, when you jumped into real estate, you made a huge investment in your business year one.
I did. Yes, I did. The very first year, I spent $36,000 and I made 16. But I knew I had to do all these things. One of the first years, I made the Coldwell Banker Elite Retreat, and that's where I found Star Power. And so it was like I'd been wandering around in a dark room, and somebody flipped on the light and said, "This is how you do it." It's like, thanks, So I started going to, the conference universities, and every time there was anything anywhere. I mean, there was one time that you guys were in Indiana that we went over. And I never missed a conference because there was always something I needed to learn. When I first went into real estate, I started in January, and in February I started my GRI classes. And back in those days, it was like 3 and 4 days. It was like a commitment, and you had to do 3 of them. And then I got my CRS the next year. So I love learning.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah. I always had my hand up at school. Yeah. Pick me.
Your mom has to be so proud.
Oh, my mom is thrilled. My mom is 95, and she is just, I call her every morning and check on her, and, she tells me what's happening. And
what a blessing.
She is a blessing, and she prays for me, and that's important.
Aw. So back to the education thing in this year one, I mean, a lot of people jump into real estate, and especially jumped in when things were crazy during COVID. You know who you are. And the notion of being willing to lose $20,000 in your first year of real estate, I'm sure has some people very squirmy. What would you tell them?
Well, it takes a lot to get the airplane off the ground. And once you get up there, you can cruise a little bit. But it takes a lot to get there. And I wanted to be top of mind. So I did everything. One of the loan officers says I'm the queen of marketing. It's like, I want to be out there any way I could think of. And of course, we got great ideas at the conference to take home. So, yeah.
So let's talk about some of the things you're doing marketing-wise.
Oh, well, our big thing is giving back to our clients. So in January, we send them, a copy of the closing statement and a little letter asking them for referrals. In February, when we start working with somebody, we get all their information, their children, all that kind of stuff. And so in February, we send all the children a postcard that they can take to the local candy store and get candy. And it's a quart-size bag, and you can get 6 full-size candy bars in there. But
Wow.
They get to choose whatever candy they want. They can pick out the little penny candy, the little individual ones, or whatever they want. And we ask them to post a picture on Facebook and show us with their candy. And of course, we always send out the lottery cards lottery tickets and tell them that we're so lucky to have them as clients. We give between 3,000 and 4,000 flags out at the Memorial Day Parade. They let us go first, and we put all the flags in the back of the moving van, and we get to go first, and then the moving truck, the Jeep is next, and they let us go ahead and pass all the flags out to everybody. And it's so cool to turn back and look and see all those flags waving. It's fabulous. And then people call all during the year and say, oh, I need flags for this, I need flags for that. And so they keep coming. In October, we give a little card for all the little kids to go to the local pumpkin growing place. Fulton Farms, that's what it is. And they go down there and they get a free pumpkin. And of course, we send out the pie cards and we send out Christmas cards with a picture of my puppies on it.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, and I have people tell me that they have a whole collection of them, of each year what the puppies look like. And so I have to think really hard and figure out something to dress them in each year. Yeah,
How fun.
This year they got a red, looks like a ballerina.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
So you are very intentional about what you're putting in front of people.
Mhm.
Everything is serving a purpose.
Yeah.
Now, any thought or concern about outside of your past clients? Do you do anything to try to bring new business in, or are you really looking at those referrals?
Well, I do an article in the paper each week
Oh, wow.
that I write, and we are in the Home Buyer's Guide, which I don't think works a whole lot, but in order to be doing the free article, I pay to be in there. So
It's a trade-off.
yeah, but we're everywhere. You know, anywhere that somebody might be, we've got something out there. We do lots of Facebook and lots of things that, you know, through our website and things like that. So,
Where are you getting your inspiration for the content of the newspaper article?
well, just recently I had lots of inspiration for it with all the changes. People have things all the time that are out there on the internet, and I just make a twist and twist it to my area.
That's great.
So-
Why reinvent the wheel?
I know. Give me the ideas, I'll tell you how it should be here. Yeah.
Let's shift gears and talk about the evolution of your team. You kind of gave us a gloss overview, but I want to go deeper into the decisions made, and we know where you're at now, but let's start out. You started out as a solo agent.
Yes.
Then you started building. So what drove those decisions?
Well, when I went from my really nice broker to the other person, I took 2 agents in the office and the secretary. And, you know, we went to team training, we went to buyer specialists, universities, we went to all these things. And each time we got a new one, we did again. So we were several times at team training and buyer special. And of course, I went to Listening University. And I also did the technology one and the graduate class, the ones that were done like right after 9/11 when there was nobody on the planes, you know?
Yeah.
It was like a third of people on the planes. It was great. And that evolved for a while. And then they decided that they wanted to do other things. And so then it was me. And then I had another agent join me for a while. And then they decided they want to do something else. And so it's all fine. I like being the only person doing it. And Holly is my office manager, and she does everything. I mean, I do all the actual listings and the actual showing the houses, but she does all the paperwork and things, which takes a lot of your time.
And she's been with you how long?
She's been with me 5 years.
Great.
And I love her.
And you show that love. You've shared with me a little bit about some things that you do to keep her motivated.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, there's bonuses with every closing. And each month there is a way to go bonus because sometime during that month she did something special for me. So I just want her to know that she's special, and I appreciate all the things that she does for me.
That's wonderful. And it shows in the loyalty she gives you, for sure.
Yeah.
You also like to travel.
Yes.
And so how do you handle when you're out of town? You know, for someone who's a solo agent, that's their biggest panic. I can never leave my business.
I have another agent. She's a Remax agent with another company, and she covers while I'm gone. But if something would need to be written up, I would write up the listing and I would write up the purchase contract. She would show something for me while I was gone. And of course, Holly answers the phone. So
Perfect.
it is. It works out fine.
Oh, what would you say to someone who says, oh, but you're on vacation, you should just be on vacation?
I'm never on vacation like that. I always want to be in charge of everything and know what's going on and making everybody happy. You know, we were in Aruba a couple years ago and somebody called me and he said, oh, I didn't know you were in Aruba. I said, yeah, I'm in Aruba, but I'm still here to take care of you. So.
How does your family handle that?
My family's used to me. I've done this 30 years. So, and like I said, I didn't start till my daughter was out of school.
Right.
You know, so.
Well,
yeah.
they also see the benefit of that hard work, I know.
That's right. And my husband has a deep, meaningful relationship with the TV.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes he doesn't even know I'm gone. So,
oh, God
fine.
bless you, Wally. We appreciate you. Let's talk about systems, because I know you're very dialed in on your systems.
Yes.
Well, start with your database. What are you using?
We're using Top Producer.
And how
It's
long
not
have
my
you been
favorite.
using?
We've been using Top Producer probably about 8, 9 years before we had Online Agent, and I really liked it, but then they stopped supporting it. So then we had to change something else. So it does what we needed to do. It's not my favorite, and I've tried some of the other ones, and we couldn't get them to satisfy what we needed. So
There's no perfect CRM.
There's no-
I'm just going to tell all of you who are watching, there is no perfect CRM, but Top Producer seems to do a good job
it's doing.
for what most people need it to do.
Yep.
What other systems do you have in place that make things run seamlessly?
I think everything is a system. You know, everything has to be done. If you're doing it more than once, you got to have a system. And I'm a D, and I want everything done right now, right now. Right now.
Right and right now.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want it all done. So all of our plans and everything are in Top Producer, so everybody gets touched the same way every time. And that's most of my system is, by the way. But when one of my CRS classes that I took the second year I was in the business, the instructor said, you need to have plans. She said, because somewhere along the line, you're going to run into somebody who's not happy, and you're going to need to prove that you touched everybody the exact same way every time. So we keep track of all that.
I love that you got that right when you started in the business. Fair housing is the real deal. Walk me through if I'm a referral who comes from someone who's already in your database. What happens?
Somebody refers somebody that's already in my database, I'm not going to accept a referral.
No, I'm saying I was referred by someone who's in your database.
Because I have had people try to refer somebody that's already in my database.
Oh.
It's like, no. They've already got a pie last year. No. So say that again now.
Someone in your database refers me to you.
Okay.
What's your system for walking me through the process?
Okay. We call them. We fill out. Our sheet is yellow because back in the day we had to fax it. And so we had to have a color that we could fax. Probably don't need anymore because now it's EVM. And we go through, ask all the questions. And whoever is the person that referred you receives a gift card from the local candy store to thank them. And I put that in a thank you note. We do lots of notes. You know, after closing, we send them a thank you note. So we want them to know that we appreciate them.
So you're getting 2 touches in there to the person who referred. If I am on a longer time frame for doing something, How often am I going to hear from you?
Okay, we're going to set you up in the multiple listing service with your criteria. And anytime something hits the market, it's going to show up to you right away. I'm going to talk to you every other week.
Really?
Yeah.
Why'd you choose that frequency?
I figure I'm not hounding you, and it could just be a text. I just want you to know that we love you.
There's the mom theme again. You do an exceptional job of staying in contact with your database. How often do you work on the updates? I know you had mentioned in your pie cards that you're getting emails. Any other activities you're doing to make sure that you have current contact information?
That's our big one. But I send a video happy birthday message to everybody for their birthday. Everybody in the database gets that for their birthday. And the guys get a text the week before their anniversary to remind them of their anniversaries next week. And I've had several of them tell me that I've saved their life, that they had forgotten. So they were happy that I told them. And if one of those bounces back, I'm going to know right away that I need to update that. So then I ask the husband, the wife, the whatever, saying, oh, there's bank back. So can you tell me the new number? And usually they do. So we can update that way.
What a clever thing to do, to remind of the anniversaries. I love that one.
I have done that forever.
Just an idea you picked up somewhere, or you had?
I just thought of it, and I thought, yeah. So I don't have to remind Wally.
Thank goodness. Okay, let's talk about technology, because you have a couple of tools that you really, really enjoy.
Okay, the app I really enjoy is Libby. I was getting books on CD from the library, and the lady retired that was ordering all my books. And she said, here, you need to use this. Use Libby. So it's just like Audible, only it's free.
Kathy likes free.
I love free. I love free. So I just go in there and I put a hold on the books that I want, and when they're available, they come. And you can go in there and say, I want ones that are available right now. So just show me the ones that are available right now.
So it's Livvy.
Libby. Like Libby on the label. Libby.
Libby. Got it.
And it's fabulous. I wish I'd have known about it a long time ago. Instead of carrying this little thing around with my discs in it and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, we remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
Scheduling.
Yes.
You're using?
I use
Fantastical?
Fantastical, yes.
Tell us about that. Why do you like that?
Well, I've been using it for, I don't know, probably 15 more years. I've used it for a really long time, and I'm used to it. So it works for me. I don't like change a lot, If it works, keep going on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. You are so friendly and kind and sweet, but I also know that the side of Kathy that can have the very difficult conversations.
I've had those.
So let's talk about some of the seller pushback, because your business is 75% listings, right? There are a lot of things that we encounter in a listing presentation that you've really mastered. So I want to throw some of those at you and see how you handle.
Okay.
So starting with the recent settlement changes, Kathy, I don't want to pay the representative of the buyer on my house.
Okay. Well, I think that would not be the best for you. I think that you would not have quite as many showings, because there are some people out there that will not come and look at it if you're not paying the buyer's agent. When I'm working with buyers, some of them tell me, I don't want to see the houses if the seller's not paying. So you would be eliminating those. So that might be good for you.
I didn't realize that. Okay. The other agent told me they would do it for X%.
Everybody knows what they're worth.
Wow, that one just cut to the chase, didn't it? What kind of reaction do you get from the sellers when you tell them that?
I usually haven't had any problem. You know, mostly when they contact me, they're contacting me to list it with me. So I've been doing this forever, you know? So, yeah.
All right. I know you said you think the house is worth this, but we really want to try it at 20% more.
Okay. Well, I showed you the comparables. Okay. So the thing is, if you want to try it at a little bit higher, I'm good to do that for 3 weeks. And by 3 weeks, we should know whether the market's going to say yes or no. But if we have not had showings and things, then it will be time to make an adjustment.
Very straightforward again.
I'm not fluffy. Remember that part?
Yes. How often do you encounter someone that doesn't say yes to you?
Not often. Like I said, most of the time they've already made up their mind.
Yeah.
You know.
I think part of that is how you show up.
Yeah, I'm ready. I have all my ducks lined up when I get there.
Do I receive anything in advance from you when you're listing?
You get an email with your seller homework.
Oh, I get homework.
You get homework. And it's the state required disclosures. It's a form for you to give us information about you. And it has a form that says, these are all the updates I've done. In the past, I've had good experiences with realtors, and this is what happened. I've had bad experience with realtors, and this is what happened. Because I'd like to know what I'm walking in on.
And people fill this out for you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it says, and have the key ready, and have your bank number ready, you know, for your loan and everything. And usually when you get there, the key's sitting on the table with the forms. So
that's awesome.
It saves time.
Well, I hear that thread from you throughout a lot of the things you're doing. How can I be more efficient? How can I save time?
Yep.
And money.
And money. That's good. But then I donate a lot of that to the causes.
Clearly.
You know, I save it on one place and I donate it on the other.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So we're headed into a softer market, and a lot of people in the business have not dealt with things like price reductions and listing extensions. What advice can you give on helping them start talking to the sellers? What is your rhythm right now with talking to your sellers?
Okay. Well, at the listing, you need to say to them, we're going to try this price. The market's going to say yes, and the market's going to say no. If the market says no, then in 3 weeks, we need to make an adjustment. And it's programmed into our plan that in 3 weeks, I contact them. You know, we tried your try. Let's make an adjustment here and see if we can get some more activity.
And so do you continue that rhythm with your sellers? Is it every 3 weeks?
Every 3 weeks. And we get 3 of those. But we're not usually that far off.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So what sort of, when we reach that 6-month listing period time, because that's where, not to freak you all out, but that's, the industry goes there. Some of you longer because that's the market you're in. When you have a seller for 6 months or more before you're getting to closing, what things are you putting in their hands during that time?
I can't remember the last time we had one that was that long.
Well, that says a lot about
That's
your
a lot.
pricing.
Yeah. We're going to be in contact with them. Of course, they get feedback from the MLS from all the showings. And we touch them occasionally. We're not, you know, on them all the time where they feel hounded. But I'm always available. I tell them, you know, you can call me till 8:30 at night. I get up early in the morning and work out. So if you call me at 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to be drowsy. So don't tell me anything important, you know. And then, of course, Saturday afternoon, I'm at Mass, and Father won't let me take my phone in. Like that. So I said, you can't get me then. But other than that, you can get me, you know, and I'm available. And they know that I'm working for them. I'm hard at work.
So you've got top producers set up to automatically remind you, which is great. We're also going to enter a period with the softer market where buyers are going to want to offer low. So on the flip side, let's talk about how you counsel buyers, because
Okay.
I know you're very good at setting expectations.
Well, I'll tell them I'll write up anything you want, okay? But there's probably going to be extra offers and things. And how many houses do you want to lose? You know, what's your learning curve? Because mostly, if they've gotten beaten on the head a couple times, they're ready to see the light the next time.
Sure.
So, but we're still seeing multiple offers. Not 10, but we're seeing 2 or 3.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, with the changes with the NAR settlement,
Yes.
what is, walk me through the counseling you give me when I very first meet you.
As the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of course, we have to do that wonderful contract. And I explained to them, I get paid this amount. And if the seller is not willing to pay that amount, then you will be needing to make up the difference. And this is the contract. Of course, I explained to them about the lawsuit, and you know, I go through the steps of that. And we sign it, and I've not had any problems.
No one gives you any pushback.
No, I have not had any yet.
You know what? I think part of that is your delivery. What I notice about you, Kathy, is you're just so very matter of fact about things. You have confidence, which makes all the difference for the people receiving what you're telling them. Okay.
They want to be taken care of. They want to have somebody to take good care of them.
And I would imagine anybody referred to you has already been told that.
Yeah.
They're going to be well taken care
Yeah,
of.
that's what they tell me.
All right, so now let's go to inspection time. The inspection report comes back, and I'm the buyer, and there's 100 little things. How do you counsel me on the inspection?
I counsel them of what's habitability and what's not habitability. Okay, habitability means you cannot live in the house because of this problem. And those things need to be taken care of. The scratch on the door is no big deal. You know? So the seller doesn't have to do that. So
You tell me this before I even have the inspection is what I'm...
when we first talk about ordering the inspections, I tell them that it has to be a habitability issue for the seller to do something about it.
You have any buyers that still get flaky?
I haven't had anything recently. No, they're pretty reasonable.
Again,
We're
it's your
in a
level
little
of
town.
presentation, Kathy, that you just say, hey, this is the way it is.
This is the way it is. If it's not habitability, they don't have to do it. And you don't really want to make them mad. So I like everybody happy. I don't like a closing where you have to have people in 2 different rooms. We do round table closings. You know, we have the buyer and the seller there and the title company and the agents. And I want everybody happy.
Very much your theme.
It's my theme, happy. Everybody
I
happy.
love it. Talk to me about the relationships you have with your vendors.
With my vendors? Mm-hmm. Okay. I have one title company that I really like using. I like them because they will work with our schedule.
What does that mean?
They will, if I have a buyer that needs to close at 5 o'clock, it's not like they go, we don't close after 5 o'clock. They will work with ours. If we need to have the closing, like the sellers live far away, they are capable of doing it electronic signature, and they can do things like that. So they're cooperative. I like that. And they bring us Cheryl's cookies at Christmas.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, it is nice.
What about home inspectors?
Okay. I have a list that we give them, but there is nobody that I'm in love with. You know, every once in a while have a quirk. And you go, what? You know.
Well, that keeps it competitive, right?
Yeah, they can choose anybody they want. I tell them, as long as they're licensed, because in Ohio they have to be licensed.
Now, for lenders, we also have to be careful to not channel people into one lender. So how do you handle that?
Well, a lot of times they already have a lender. And then if they don't, then I can give them some names and phone numbers of people that are good to deal with. You know, I explained to them that a couple of these lenders, you can call them at 10 o'clock Sunday night and they'll answer the phone. Some of these other ones, if you don't call them by Friday at 5, you're not talking to them again until Monday. So I'm into customer service. I want the lender to be in customer service. When I need you to answer the phone.
And you get that.
And I get that.
Because you asked for it.
Not some of the ones that are the 9-to-5 ones, but the other ones I can, yeah.
You have worked really hard to build your reputation in your very small community. So Kathy, you do some additional touches that I think are really special. Talk to me about send out cards and what you're doing there.
Okay, when we see on Facebook somebody that, a picture of them and their kids, or they're on vacation or something special, we send them a send out card. And James Nellis gave me the code, so we go through his little code. So people love it, to get a picture of their child doing something, them on vacation. They just love it. And they keep them on their refrigerator.
I know I do. I've gotten a few.
Yeah.
I do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
I think they're wonderful.
Fun. It's fun. Whenever we see any of the children in the paper, or the people that are clients in the paper, we cut it out, laminate it, and send it to them. So they've got it, because a lot of them don't get the paper.
So this theme of caring for others always begs the question, what do you do to take care of yourself?
I work out every morning. I'm on my elliptical every morning. That's something that I need to do. There's occasional days where I can't do it, and I try not to kill anybody that day. So, but I taught aerobics for 25 years, and I'm used to having that endorphin or whatever it is. I need to have it every day to be happy.
It's a good addiction to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
What do you want your legacy to be?
That I was kind, that I took good care of people, that I was generous. Like I said, I just want them all to be happy, and that's important to me.
I think you're achieving your mission.
I try very, very hard.
I don't think there's a person in our Star Power family that knows you that wouldn't say you are one of the nicest, most thoughtful people. I certainly just value greatly the friendship that we have.
And we've known each other a long time.
Yes, and the way you pour into other people is really amazing.
Thank you.
Kathy, I just want to thank you on behalf of all of our Star Power family for saying yes to doing this interview. I know your mom is so proud, and thank her on behalf of me for the prayers. And those of you watching, I know you've gotten some value out of this interview, so please share with your colleagues all the value you're getting out of Star Power and encourage them to join the club. On behalf of Kathy and our whole Star Power family, I'm Amy Stair, CEO, and we look forward to you joining us on our next interview.